Hey guys, this is part 2 of Is Bookkeeping Dying? I think that's going to be my thumbnail. But basically, how is the advances in technology and artificial intelligence and robots affecting the bookkeeping industry? So as you hopefully watched in part 1, I talked about how you can elevate your bookkeeping practice. In this video, I get into some more statistics and talk about the research I've done about bookkeeping. If you don't know me, my name is Morgan. My website's FinePoints.biz. I have a free masterclass about Is Bookkeeping Right for You? And my favorite bookkeeping training is Bookkeeper Launch. All that is going to be linked in the description box below. All right, so going into statistics about bookkeeping and is it declining? So as you can imagine, there are a lot of opinions and even with facts, people can kind of skew them however they want and you can interpret them in different ways, right? And like I said before, I recognize my own inherent bias as a bookkeeper. I want to think bookkeeping is doing great and I think everyone should be a bookkeeper. So I am definitely positive about the bookkeeping industry. And I recognize that it's changing, but always not in a bad way. So the first thing we're going to dig into is US News and World Report, as well as Forbes. So I'm going to leave these linked down, all these links in the description box below. I was able to find more in US News and World Report. I just mentioned Forbes because that is a very frequently quoted statistic kind of in the bookkeeper world or for people who are selling bookkeeper classes, that Forbes ranks bookkeeping as the #1 business to start. I think that's a couple years old now, but I wasn't able to find the exact statistic in Forbes because you can only look at like 5 Forbes articles before they make you pay. So anyways, I just want to mention that Forbes thing. If you know that article and have a link to it, definitely leave it in the comments because I hear that thrown around a lot, but I personally couldn't find that article. All right, but I did find US News and World Report, and they have a list of the 50 best business jobs that you can start in this year. And bookkeeping was number 20. So I thought that was pretty high on the list actually. And they have all the stats about like job satisfaction and salary, and also if there's getting to be more of that type of job or less of that type of job. So they did have the total number of bookkeepers going down in the future. But this was kind of at a similar or lesser rate than other jobs. They had office clerks, admin assistants, executive assistants, all these jobs they said were going down. So if I, for example, wanted to be an executive assistant and I really wanted to do that and I thought it was the best fit for me, that wouldn't discourage me from becoming an executive assistant. I would just be a better executive assistant. So I don't know if that's kind of like how everyone thinks, but I feel like I just have like the confidence within myself that I can be, I can like beat out other people as in the bookkeeping role. Or I can always like start on one path and then if it doesn't work, just slightly change a little bit. And in that subject, also on this list of the best business jobs, the top 10, maybe number 3, 4, and 5 was a financial manager, a financial advisor, which is apparently different, and a statistician. So in my mind, if I'm someone, and I was this person, who wanted to start a side hustle as a bookkeeper, I mean, you guys probably know my story where I had a kid and I wanted to earn a little extra money to pay off debt. So for me, getting my bookkeeping business started was a step in the right direction. And then from here, I can do other things. I can do YouTube. I can become a financial advisor. I can be a tax preparer. I can go back to school and get my CPA, my Certified Public Accountant degree. So again, you might decide that you don't have much to lose. Like if you're just gonna sit around, maybe watching Netflix or reading books, and you can spend that time learning a new skill, bookkeeping, and get a couple of clients, that might be worth your while. All right, and the next thing I pulled out was from Strategic Finance magazine. And they had a really long article with a bunch of stats that I'll, of course, link for you. But basically, their main thesis was that, yes, the number of bookkeepers is going to go down, but almost in kind of like the same amount that the baby boomer generation, so the older retirees, are going to vacate those bookkeeping positions as well. And so there is still going to be a large need in a certain size of business owner, certain size of business, that they're going to need people like me, bookkeepers that they can outsource bookkeeping to. They talked about how the smaller business owners will probably just do their own books using the new technology or an app, QuickBooks app on their phone or something. And then very large business owners will invest in other technology or other software that the mid-sized businesses can't afford. And so they definitely saw a need for bookkeepers in this certain segment of the business population. And this was actually an article talking to business owners. It wasn't talking to bookkeepers or about, declining numbers in bookkeepers. They were trying to advise their small business clients on where to find good bookkeepers and how to find good bookkeepers. And they actually believe that this combination of people aging out and retiring and then not enough new people entering the bookkeeping field was going to create a shortage of bookkeepers for this particular segment of business owning population, or a certain type of businesses. So I thought that was a pretty interesting analysis of the situation. All right, and then another article had this chart that I'll put up on the screen. It was about the unemployment rates specifically of bookkeepers. And like the unemployment rates generally in the country, it is going down. So you can see bookkeepers are not unemployed, which is a good thing, right? So the unemployment rate has gone down over this period of time. And a lot of this research didn't really designate between, someone who works full-time as a bookkeeper in an office versus me as someone who has their own bookkeeping business and works with different clients. Because I think we're probably harder to pull. Say I changed fields or I lost my job or lost a couple of clients, no one is really collecting data on me as a self-employed person. And as I mentioned in part 1, I have not had trouble at all getting clients, and I'm a big advocate of, having to adapt depending on different situations. And I've had to do that multiple times in my life in different jobs, not just as a bookkeeper. Let me know in the comments if you have any other articles that are interesting or what your opinion is on bookkeeping. Are you worried about, artificial intelligence taking over our jobs? Or are you kind of okay with being flexible and using that tech to your advantage? I hope you guys enjoyed this little 2-part series. This is a very frequently asked question that I get a lot. So I wanted to make this with all of my thoughts here in one place. So I hope you have a great week, and I will be talking to you next time. Bye.